I'm just going to record this from here. We might have to upload this later. This is the Season 17 Top Cut. Hanmir, Weyoun versus UncleRico. And we're about to get started. All right, looks like some of our stream issues are starting to resolve themselves. Red 5 for Weyoun into an Ezra from UncleRico. Red 5 really nice in this mirror. Being able to damage some of the damaged units that come out. But it isn't a force unit, which does matter. So UncleRico able to generate the force. Weyoun not able to do the same. And Weyoun, it looks like, is going to have to on in a turret, which without the force feels kind of awkward. Although he most likely will get initiative here, meaning he can swing in and either destroy the Ezra right away with the Red 5 or generate the force with the turret. Looks like Grogu going to be Honden for UncleRico. Sorry about the stream issues. If you're getting that, we're dropping a lot of frames, it looks like. So Weyoun is gonna just kill the Ezra with which allows the Grogu to then kill the Red 5. Grogu is a really interesting card in this deck. Sometimes he's super powerful, and sometimes he just doesn't do much. All right, here comes Yoda for Rico, and then Weyoun draws the first Caddy-Mundi of the game. Gets to draw 2. That does matter a lot. And Rico's just not getting the important things on curve. Although he picks up a mace here. Oh, actually, he's going to go Anakin instead. To kill the Chariot. Mace could have killed either, but Anakin does just the job. And also the Han ability gets some damage on the board for Grogu to start manipulating. If you're having difficulty with the stream, I am recording, and I'll probably just, if it's unwatchable, I'll probably just upload the recording, which shouldn't have all the stuttering. Let's see if I can attempt to... reduce the bitrate, see if that helps at all. All right, forces with me. That's an interesting tech for Weyoun. Allows him to clear the unit of his choice. Or just go to base. And it's going to be Grogu. All right, Yoda going to crash himself into the key, get a card draw off. And if Weyoun decides to force throw here, it would be a pretty nasty throw. All right, just going to deploy Han for the time being. And UncleRico is going to take initiative. All right, yeah, Weyoun is going to throw Rico. Gets rid of the big mace and blows up the Anakin in one hit. Bunch of high cost cards in Rico's hand. Even if it does make sense to do that, because if it's anything 2 or higher, the Han can swing in and kill the Anakin. So I definitely like that move by Weyoun, even though it wasn't, from his perspective, it's not necessarily guaranteed that he's able to clear the Anakin there, but just worked out that way. Mace coming down, blowing up the Ki-Adi. Luke coming down and clearing the mace. And Weyoun looks to have taken a pretty decisive tempo lead here. Rico finally manages to deploy his Han. All right, Anakin comes down. I believe that's just -3. I don't think he has the Force Lightning in there. Yep, just -3 onto the Luke, meaning he has 2 health left, enough to be ran over by the Han. But Weyoun has Sentinels in hand that he can drop to protect from that. I wonder if we're going to get to see this one of Obi-Wan. Although, Chirrut plus Fel the Dragon is probably more compelling. Yeah, here comes Chirrut. And it looks like some of our stream issues should be starting to resolve themselves. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Fel the Dragon comes down and clears the Anakin. And Chirrut might just be sticking around for good here. It's going to be difficult for Rico to kill him. I guess he does have a Shatterpoint, which sorry, feels bad to waste on a Chirrut, but if you have to, you have to. All right, Han is going to attack into him, try to force force out some of the force uses there. Luke gonna go and do 3 to base. Still gets all 3 of the restore. And gets the force back. What's going on? Oh, it looks like Weyoun tried to attack the Jedi in hiding, but it was, he can't because it's hidden. Ooh, Luke top decked from UncleRico. That's a nice hit. Gonna go force throw first. Thinking about doing it on himself, potentially to clear the Luke. No, he's gonna do it on Weyoun. Weyoun pitches another turret. That's gonna kill the first turret. There's 6-2 base with the Luke. That's threatening lethal. And I think Weyoun's going to get this one. Rico does have a chance to play his own Luke, temporarily save himself. But can't clear both these units for next turn. So Weyoun pretty much can just claim and win. He also got cards he can play to keep himself alive. He spent 6. It looks like we might just see this Obi-Wan. Yeah, the Obi-Wan. Forces Rico to claim. And yeah, it's just going to be passed from Weyoun. And nothing solid picked up. Like, Luke can run over the Obi-Wan, but then and get the restore, but because he's only on 28 health, the other Luke just goes in for 6. And a 28-0 shutout win for Weyoun in game 1. All right, let's take a look at the deck list. This is Weyoun's. Again, he's running some interesting stuff. Got the one of Forces with me, one of Obi-Wan, 3 copies of Owen, no Ogdo Bogdos, and 2 copies of the Daughter, which is super interesting. On the sideboard, he's got a bunch of stuff for Kylo. Got Confiscates and Parliamentarians. Confiscate's not actually that good into Kylo, but I think it's probably more so for the pilot decks. Parliamentarian, Champs and Duel for the ramp, Bombing Run for the pilot decks, and then the second copy of Rivals Fall in case he needs it. I don't even know what comes in. Maybe Bombing Run? Honestly, I'm not even sure. On Rico's side, got some similar stuff, Bombing Run, Rivals Fall, Cham, but also an extra copy of Force Lightning to turn on the Anakin. Conquer Dawn Interceptors, which probably isn't super relevant here, and the 3rd Crate Dragon. And his list, again, overall is very different. Like, these are, the same decks, but they're running very different packages in some ways. Jedi in Hidings, Ogdo Bogdos, I don't believe... Yeah, no Jedi in Hidings for Weyoun. No Owens for Rico. He's also on 2 hammerheads. I don't believe. Yeah, no, Weyoun's not on hammerhead at all. And 3 Anakins for Rico. So it looks like they're shuffling up for game 2. All right, Rico starting us off with the Grogu. Weyoun is going to run out of Yaddle. Thought about he had the red 5 in hand, but that's a bad opening in the Grogu. Yaddle actually does pretty well into the Grogu. All right, Grogu is going to move the damage. Not go for the force. He's an opening that uses it in hand, so sort of makes sense. Looks like we're gonna have an itinerant coming down for Rico. And then 3-cost Ezra. Full price paid there. Now, interestingly, like Grogu, remember, can be used on opponents' units. I believe that's correct. Let me pull up Grogu. Yeah. So you can heal from the itinerant and clear the Yaddle next turn. All right, Yaddle going to go in, generate the force for Weyoun, and Rico gets initiative. Rico thinking hard about his resource here. Could I end up going to resource the takedown? Interesting. All right, and then he goes Ezra attack into the Yaddle to clear it. Not going to use the Grogu there. Remember, the Grogu damage doesn't go through shields. It's not actually moving damage. It's healing and dealing. All right, itinerant going to go there. Go ahead and blow up the Ezra. And then Poe comes down with the Han ability for cheap. And then Weyoun gets Scatty to draw the extra cards. And Grogu, unused, clears the damage off the Poe. But it does give Weyoun the chance to get initiative here. Weyoun picks up a force throw, as does Rico, actually. Weyoun's force throw could be used to clear the Poe before he can really get going. And I imagine that's what's going to happen. Probably, yeah, throw his own mace. All right, Rico gonna drop his own Kiadi and pick up 2 cards off the top of the deck. Weyoun's Kiadi goes to base and generates the force again. And it looks like, yep, Han flip there from Rico. But a turret coming down for Weyoun. Han's going to run into it. Turret is going to use the force to block it somewhat. And here's an Owen coming down. Owen's one of my favorite cards. It just like slots into everything. It's just, he's so good. All right, Grogu going to be used. Move some of the damage from Han over to the turret. I will say I'm not 100% sure that playing Owen is the right move here for Weyoun. Even though it's free, he hasn't taken any damage on the base. And presenting the damage gives something for Grogu to move around. But I don't think it's going to matter a ton because this force throw is just going to kill the turret right away. And things are now looking pretty good for UncleRico here. All right, when you're thinking about what to do with this initiative, he's in a weird spot here. Doesn't have much to do. Only 2 cards in hand. One of which is the Crate Dragon and is not playable right now. He might have a cat. I don't think he's actually on Cassian's. Never mind. Just gonna run into the Grogu, generate the force. Hope that the Kiadi gets cleared so we can play the second one and replenish his engine here, maybe. And yep, he is gonna get killed by the Han there. Well, you're gonna slow roll the second Kiadi, it looks like. By deploying his leader. And then Force Lightning coming down. 3 for the cost. Spend 3 resources. Blow up the Han right away. And that gets the villain in there for the Anakins, which are going to start rolling soon. All right. Kiadi coming down. Use the Force Draw 2. No playables. Picked up second Crate Dragon and a Felder Dragon as well. Grogu going to put 2 damage on the key. Probably forcing Weyoun to claim here. I probably would not be trying to get value off of this Owen at the moment. Unless maybe he wants to crash the Weyoun to try and pick up a playable. That is a valid line. But if he takes initiative, he's got most likely free reign to hit someone with a key ID. Which could either be trading with the Han leader or eating the Grogu. And yeah, so Weyoun is going to take initiative here. Does pick up a couple playables here. Ezra and Grogu. Nothing that impacts the board immediately. All right, decides to eat the Grogu, which should generate the Force. Force coming down from Rico. Yeah, the Force. Any of these cards is going to kill either of these units. He's just got to pick his least favorite here. And just goes for the Ezra. That's why you'd probably going to be forced to trade this Weyoun here. Yeah. Heals to gets trigger. Ooh, Luke is a pretty strong pickup here, but seeing double Force Star having to go to the bottom is rough. Yoda, Secret of Sage. You can say goodbye to those, but double Force Throw. Now, Rico does have the Fel Dragon, which can be an out to that Luke. But it does do something here. Oh, it's actually just going to be the counter Luke from Rico, which allows the Han to eat it for free. And Rico's still maintaining his hold on the board here. But we are now getting to the point where Crate Dragon starts to come online. But we'll see if Rico or if Weyoun decides to go for it, or if he tries to, play double fours this turn. It looks like he's going for that line, which does make a lot of sense. Force already established for Chirrut. It looks like they're going Chirrut for Chirrut here. Poe gets Han in here. Then that's a threat. Let's see. Forces with me picked up for Weyoun. Could be something, but actually doesn't even get through the opposing turret. I imagine Weyoun probably just drops a Crate Dragon here. Maybe hopes to use that for some board control. Like a 4 cost for Fel Dragon or Shatterpoint is enough to clear the Poe. Oh, he's actually going to smuggle out a Chewbacca, allowing him to kill the oh. Let's pull up Chewbacca here. You don't see him played for smuggle all the time because uh, playing it with damage in the Han deck usually makes a lot more sense. Rather a 6/8 than a 4/10 a lot of the time. But sometimes that smuggle really does make the difference. Weyoun just takes initiative. And decision made by Rico not to kill this turret. He could have done it. He could have pushed through with his own turret and the Han. We would have lost the Han. But initiative going to Weyoun allows the Great Dragon to make an appearance. And then Owen just coming in for free. Because why not? All right, Shatterpoint going to be used to clear the Chewbacca. That puts 4 damage on to the turret. Well, you can just take an initiative here. And now, yeah, so now Rico is going to ram both of his units into the turret. Gives him the opportunity to play Fell on that crate and have the damage go to the base. And Weyoun has managed to sort of turn this thing around. He used to be like pretty decisively down on board state, but now it's closer to even. And he's got two big crate dragons in hand still. Force Lightning, though, might be a nice out to the Great Dragon. Right? He's got to spend, 8 to make it happen? Just enough. Yeah, he's at 10 resources, which means he can play Yaddle and then Force Lightning for all of his resources here. Weyoun is just going to go first and immediately drop this Great Dragon. There's that Yaddle we were talking about. Oh, and just going to be used to restore 2. Oh, okay. So what they're doing, so the Owen attacks for 0, but they were taking the damage to the base from the Yaddle from the Great Dragon. All right, and there's Force Lightning. And the Hammerhead gets another hit off. Sooner or later, Weyoun is going to have to deal with that Hammerhead. We'll see if he decides to do it this time or if he decides to drop Just drop another crate dragon like he's done the past couple of rounds. Yeah, there it is. And this time Rico doesn't have a simple out for it. Ooh, he's actually going to Han it in to... keep some resources up. Hammerhead gets yet another hit in. Owen's going to restore some of it. And yeah, Rico is going to crash in to the crate. And Anakin gets to finish it off. And now where's Weyoun going to put the damage? Looks like 6 into Anakin. All right, yep, Anakin. And a red 5 coming in on top of that. And Rico might have just taken back possession of this board here after dealing with all 3 copies of Great Dragon in successive rounds. All right, forces with me. Going to, yeah, go on to Yaddle and clear the Anakin. And also generate the force, yeah. Rico gets a hit off with Hammerhead. Owen's going to restore 2 while he has a chance. Red 5 goes to base. And does it pop the Owen? Looks like no. Seven resources left. So yeah, Weyoun can go Han the itinerant and then still play Fell the Dragon. Yep. So Han's in the itinerant, does use the force to heal 3. Rico gonna Han in his own itinerant. And also use the force to heal 3. Fell the Dragon finally clears that Hammerhead. And a Luke comes down to clear the big Yaddle. Weyoun gets initiative here. Ooh, couple good pickups here. Turret and Rivals Fall. Might just hold him in. But Rico drew his own Crate Dragon, which might help him close this one out. He's got to think through the sequencing here. All right, Rivals Fall on the Luke. Yeah, probably playing around the Crate Dragon there by keeping the dragon there. All right, so red 5's going to go in. This time it is going to pop the Owen. It looks like we're forgetting the Owen trigger. Rico reminding him. Yeah, Owen is actually mandatory here. All right. Couple interesting things here. I don't know if any of them matter. Because Weyoun's got to deal with both these threats. Picks up a mace. Doesn't even have the force at the moment. All right, so he's able to use Chirrut, but Rigo probably just claims and claims and kills, or he just force throws the the Chirrut. And that's it. Game 2. Well played by both players, but Rico just had more gas in the end. So we're going to have a game 3 of this. These Han mirrors are grueling, but also fun. All right, Weyoun gets to start us off here. Goes for an Ezra. Classic Battlefield Marine start. Rico goes for his Grogu. Daughter picked up her Weyoun. We haven't actually seen that in this entire match. I wonder if we'll see the daughter in action here. Nope, she's going to get resourced. Double force throw on Rico's hand. I just noticed that. That's crazy. Weyoun's got 1 copy. All right, Weyoun just drops a Yoda here. Rico going to use his own force throw here. Gets Weyoun's. Puts the damage on Ezra, which puts Ezra in range of getting Grogu'd. Now, how is Weyoun going to use it here? He could go into Grogu, which sets up... Yeah, he's going to go into Grogu. Which does put the Grogu low. But the Grogu can heal 2 from himself here. To prevent Yoda lethal. The second force throw hits the table, and Weyoun's got to be thinking, You know, sometimes it just be like that. All right. The Yoda does die here, which allows Weyoun to sort of replenish his cards a bit. And yeah, Grogu going to be used to clear that Ezra. On the bright side for Weyoun, Rio doesn't have the Force, which might matter. And Weyoun does, and he's got Ki-Adi-Mundi, which could be exactly the comeback he needs to get through double Force throw. All right, Ki-Adi. Going to be used to draw 2 here. Just Jedi in hiding drops. Weyoun decides to go for an Owen. Grogu put some damage into the key. And Weyoun gets initiative here. And this Grogu is still staying alive after taking so many hits. All right. All right. Weyoun asking if he can. What do you think is resource? Rico says, go ahead. All right. Looks like the key is going to ram the Grogu here. Which does generate Weyoun the Force. Sets up a potential Han Mace play here. All right, yep, Grogu going to be used to heal itself, clear the key. And we're going to see the Mace actually kill the Jedi in hiding. Han flips over for Rico here. And the same for Weyoun. Rico able to hide his behind turret. If I'm Weyoun, I might just take initiative here. Oh yeah, he is gonna hit into the turret with the Han. But I'm gonna just take it so I can eat the turret with the mace on the following turn. because Rico does not have the force. All right, Rico has an Anakin. Does he actually have any hero cards in the discard? I think he's got it, right? I maybe not. Oh yeah, so Mace does eat the turret first action. I guess if I was in Weyoun's position, I would rather like have my Han available at this time. Then have the 3 damage on 3 extra damage on the base and 3 extra damage on the opposing Han. But I mean, there are valid reasons to be pushing for that extra base damage. All right. And I'm certainly no expert Han player. Grogu. Is that a Grogu? It looks like a Grogu attack. That might be because the Grogu is the only. It would be the first hero unit because I really don't think he has any other ones. Which that sets up the Anakin. Owen gonna go in, crash himself to search something. He's got 3 options here. Probably Caddy Moon to here. Yep. Three to base from the Han. And here comes a Grogu of Weyoun's own. Riga just going to drop an Anakin. Not going to do much with it. Technically, the -3 goes onto the Grogu, but doesn't really matter. All right, 4 cost. Could be Chirrut, could be Kiadi. Chirrut is definitely tempting here, with the force already established. But the card draw from the key is also tempting. All right, it's just going to be Chirrut. And Riku gets initiative. All right, Shatterpoint. Just going to shatter the Chirrut. We're going to heal himself. Put some damage onto the Anakin. Big thing that does is prevent the Anakin from just running over the Grogu. Okay, Mace is going to be used. Oh yeah, Mace used to kill Han. Like Weyoun was having second thoughts, but decided to go for it. Force Star coming down against Weyoun, and this is what you hold the Weyoun for. Boom. Although the 1 damage does put Grogu in range of getting Anakin. And that is what's going to happen. The daughter picked up for Weyoun. Thinking about keeping it. And he is going to keep it. Mace going to run over the Anakin here. Immediately met by counter Luke. All right, QID going to come down, use the Force, try to find a Fell the Dragon for that Luke. Doesn't get one, but does get a Force throw in an Anakin. You gotta consider it. Like, is Force throwing your Crate Dragon worth it? Is it worth it to be greedy and Force throw Rico? Decision time for Weyoun. Daughter, I believe, is 5 costs, so he could actually play her out this turn with Han. He is going to use the Force throw, and the target is going to be Rico. Blends the Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint is actually a pretty important card in this matchup. It's one of the outs to create Dragon, and it sets up a key to be able to crash into the Luke. As an out, second Luke picked up. All right, Luke hit in. It's a pretty big deal. A lot of damage. All right, looks like Chirrut comes down here from Rico. All right, Grogu going to make an appearance here. Yep, that's a pass out of Rico. Anakin comes in for Weyoun to blow up the Luke. And Rico gets initiative. Weyoun's starting to build up a board advantage, but Chirrut can wreak havoc on it. The second Luke could also be a big deal, but it doesn't kill anything at the moment. On the inside, he's got the Crate Dragon ready to go. Rico just going to keep the Luke in hand, but use the Kiadi to draw cards here. Perhaps a misplay there. The use of the Kiadi there, use of the Force there, takes turret ability offline, which allows the Anakin to just run it over. I think another pass there from Rico. Mace goes ahead and clears the Kiadi. Second Kiadi coming down, no effect this time. And then the Force is with me. The spicy one of. Let's pull that one up. An oldie but a goodie. And Weyoun's put it to real good use this match. And from this point, like, Weyoun obviously has a pretty commanding board state. Hard to even imagine anything that breaks it, really. He can start to hammer away at some of the pieces, but Weyoun's going to be able to drop a Crate Dragon this turn. And that might just seal the deal. So Hammerhead comes down. That's 4 damage. That does clear the Anakin, which is pretty big news. Yeah, no time to waste for Weyoun. Just drop that Crate Dragon. And Rico's just going to take initiative here. And Rico said a bad word in chat. They're just going to call it? Yeah, it looks like it. Nothing Rico can do. And Weyoun 98 taking his first match of the top cut. Let's take a look at the bracket now. So yeah, so Weyoun wins that one. Next round should be playing on over the next week. Weyoun is going to be taking on Majar on the Quinlan. Weyoun did lose to a Quinlan player last season. Different Quinlan player. But we'll see if he can get his revenge on the Yellow Jedi. Rico gonna have to face off against Gerald, which is a repeat of last season's finals. So thank y'all for tuning in, and remember to always take the initiative.